So after months of research and waiting, we finally bought our second motorcycle for the channel, the Indian Super Scout. But the real question is, did we make the right choice? Hi, and welcome back to Inland 208 Adventures. My name is Chris, and if you've been watching this channel for a little bit, you may have heard Cassie and I talking about our plans to add a second bike to our garage right next to our Honda Rebel 1100. Well, the wait is over, and here it is. This is our brand new Indian Super Scout. So in this video, we're going to take a closer look at this bike. We're going to go over its details, and I'll take you on a ride with me while I explain why we ultimately chose this motorcycle over the competition. All right, let's get started. So this video is going to be made and shot a little bit differently because my cameraman, also known as my wonderful wife Cassie, fell down our stairs while doing laundry, and she sprained her ankle very badly. We thought it was broken. Luckily it's not, but she cannot put weight on it for the next couple of weeks. So go ahead and send her some positive vibes down in the comments if you don't mind. So here's the Indian Super Scout. Now in the Scout line, we're going to do kind of a walk around of it. So in the Scout line, you have quite a lot of different versions of it. You have the Scout Bobber, which is the lower end. Then you have the Sport Scout, which is kind of that middle end there. And that is a great looking motorcycle, also sat on that one. Then you have on the higher end tier of the Scout, you have the Super Scout, which is basically just a beefier, or I guess better kitted out version of the Sport Scout. And then you also have the 101 Scout. Now, since I was able to afford it, barely, I went ahead and I test rode this one, and I test rode the 101 Scout. And I'll tell you why I eventually chose this one over the 101, which is kind of crazy. It's not what I expected. With the Super Scout, it's obviously designed more for touring. So it comes with the windshield here, which is quick release. You also, and you can get higher windshields if you want, and also comes with the passenger pad here. I did order a rear passenger backrest just like I have on my Rebel. That's kind of a shorter one there. I just don't have it installed yet. And it has these bags in here. You can tell, look at that, I got some stuff in here. I got my Kemimoto cover in there, and other stuff around the other side here. Got just some of my camera equipment and stuff like that. These bags are actually fairly large, and they look nice. They're kind of, they're plastic, but they got their kind of leather covering over it. And you can store quite a lot of stuff in there compared to the Rebel bags. This is the Indian seat. It's just the standard seat. I find it actually decently comfortable. Like, I haven't done a lot of long rides yet. I only have 80 miles on this bike, and most of that was just riding it home. So this is kind of not really a full review, but more of like almost like a first impressions type of thing from my perspective. So, but the seat is pretty comfortable. No issues with that yet. So let's talk about motorcycle storage for just a second. I've been using a Kemimoto motorcycle cover ever since I purchased my Honda Rebel 300 a few years back. So when they reached out and asked me to try out a newer version now that I have two bikes, I said absolutely. It's got a pretty thick waterproof material, elastic around the bottom so it stays tight around the bike, and straps underneath so it doesn't turn into a parachute when the wind picks up. It also packs down pretty small, so you can actually take it with you if you're traveling. Honestly, it's just one of those things that makes a big difference if your bike sits outside or if you're traveling and want to keep it protected overnight. It comes in a few different colors and fits many different sizes of bikes, all at a very reasonable price. So if you're in need of a motorcycle storage cover, look no further than the Kemimoto heavy duty storage cover. Link in the description below. So it's got a 1250cc Speed Plus motor. The motor is great. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the ride. Of course, this is the Limited Plus Tech package, which is actually standard for the Super Scout. It just means it has the ride command and keyless ignition. So you actually start the bike with this cool little key fob here. You just have to have this in your pocket. And then around on the other side here, you have a little power button that you press, and then you start it, you know, just like your other motorcycles, just like that. This one though is just kind of a push button start. You don't have to hold it, I've found. Yeah, great looking motorcycle. I really like the matte black paint job that's on the bike, and then the kind of that classic detailing right here with the Indian logo with kind of the grayed out flames. It's a nice looking paint job. These mirrors, I actually liked these mirrors better than what was on the 101 Scout. They had the bar end mirrors, and call me crazy because I think the bar end mirrors are more popular with guys, but I actually liked these. I felt like with the bar end, my arm was in the way all the time. So these I liked a lot more. So even with the 101 Scout, I bet I would have put a set of those on there, probably just black. And then kind of going back here, so my grandma passed away back in October. So when I was out to buy a new motorcycle, I was really hoping that I could afford to get something special because I wanted to honor her by putting her initials on my bike. So that's what this is all about here. And I got the same color to match the Indian logo there. So MJ, this one's for you, Grandma. I did put in the Pathfinder LED headlight because it was better, and I figured while I'm at it, might as well put the better headlight on. So I did do that. And oh yeah, I got my cup holder on there. You may have noticed that. You know, I ride these things to work. I commute around. I'm kind of a health conscientious person, so I don't leave without water with me. And I kind of like to just take my cup with me. Sure, I could throw water bottles in there, but I just like to grab my cups. And then if I ride to work, I got to put coffee in there. So this is actually the same cup holder that I brought or that I put on my Honda Rebel 1100. A lot of you have asked what that is. I'll put the link down below. This is also the only one I can get to fit on the Rebel. And you can see there's not a lot of places even on this bike to put the cup holder. So I actually ended up having to put it in the same spot as the Rebel. However, I had to kind of do it backwards where I had this part kind of flipped around and put in. This was the only way I can get it to fit on this particular motorcycle. So just a pro tip on that. Like I said, I'll put the link if you're interested in it. I do occasionally get people that make fun of me for the cup holders. I don't care. You can make fun of me if you want, as long as you don't bring down the vibe. If you bring down the vibe of the channel, all the power's on me. You're not going to hurt my feeling, but I'm just going to delete your comments. So just save your time. So there's no getting around it that this motorcycle is out the door about $8,000 more than my Honda Rebel 1100T DCT. Of course, when you're buying an American motorcycle, you are going to pay more for it. That's just kind of the way it is. And it did take me a little bit of time to figure out, okay, why just beyond the brand name is it so much more expensive? And I do have some answers for that. So for one, the build quality is excellent on this motorcycle. And I keep finding like new things. These weld points are great. It's put together really solid. I mean, the detail with the you know, you got the brush metal here and the way that everything is painted is just really like next level compared to Japanese motorcycles. Not that there's anything wrong with those. It's just this is on a different level. The other thing is too, there is like no plastic on here. Which surprised me. I was actually trying to put a garage door opener in here that I put on my Rebel, and I realized, oh, there's nothing to drill a hole in. This is metal, which is where I was going to put it. Everything on here is metal. So yeah, so the longer I've owned it, the more I've realized, okay, I'm kind of getting why this thing is a lot more expensive. It's just built on a different level. The other thing that's nice too, before I forget, is that this is belt driven. No more 150-year-old chain technology, which is great. The engine is really smooth and nice. The clutch feels good. This is a really great motorcycle, guys. So I think Indian, now that they were already doing great. As far as I understand it, Indian was the only motorcycle company in the year of 2025 who actually grew. And now that they're not a part of Polaris as much, now that they're more on their own, I think this brand is poised to just explode. I think they got great leadership. They got good dealers. I think they're poised to explode, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. So now we'll go ahead and get on the bike, and we'll talk about what it's like to ride. All right, so we're on our little test circuit here around the lake, and if you've watched other of our kind of review videos, this is where I go to kind of tell you what everything's like to ride. It's not high speed or anything like that, but it's nice and twisty, and I can't go too fast anyway, typically, because of the wind noise anyway. little bit better with this motorcycle. We'll get to that here in just a minute. But so yeah, you might be wondering why I chose this over the Scout 101. And basically it just came down to how it felt while riding. I really walked in there thinking I was going to walk away with that red 101 Scout. It's one of the best looking motorcycles out there. And I mean, performance wise, it's awesome. It's, for those of you that may not know, it's tuned a little differently. It's the same motor, but it's just tuned a little differently. So it's a little quicker, and it's got better suspension. It's got upgraded suspension and other components, upside down fork suspension. And so when I test rode it, I actually test rode this one first, and I was like, okay, actually that was really nice. And went on the 101 Scout, and while the handling and the suspension felt a little better than this, I was a little bit more hunched up. I actually kind of liked how these handlebars are swept back a little bit more than those ones. And so actually the riding stance on this bike compared to this 101 Scout was just better for me. And it took me, like I mentioned earlier, quite a long time to come to grips with that. But ultimately I think I made the right decision, and I would have ended up spending a lot of money on bags and passenger equipment. So I definitely think this was the right decision for me. Now this motorcycle, the way that you sit, it's a very comfortable. Hello, everyone's so nice here. It's where you sit, the riding stance is very comfortable. It is forward controls. My 2025 Rebel 1100 is also forward controls. These are a little more forward, which is standard with all the Scouts. The seat, like I mentioned before, is pretty comfortable for me. I haven't really gone on any long rides yet. I might do that tomorrow, just test the seat out. But so far I've been really pleasantly surprised with the stock seat on this. And the wind protection, that's another reason why I chose this over the Scout 101, is this windshield actually does a really great job of protecting you from the wind. And with my Rebel the way it is, it's a lot lower of wind protection, and so I can't go fast while doing any sort of motovlogs or videos because of that. I think I can go a little quicker on this, and also I have better audio equipment this year too. But yeah, this wind protection's great. It is noticeable. I do not regret the decision at all. One thing that's nice about the Indian Scout lineup is that everything is quick attach. Well, not everything, but most things are. And like the rear passenger backrest that I have on order, it's quick release. This windshield is quick release. So if you have different sizes for different riding scenarios, you can just take them off really fast or throw a new one on. Some upgrades I might get for this is, I'm actually thinking about getting a sound system, believe it or not, because I feel like, why not? This bike is awesome. Might as well have some awesome sound too. So we'll see if I actually end up doing that or not. But that is in the works there. Ooh, I scraped my peg there. And another thing that I'm thinking about doing is possibly getting a quarter fairing similar to the Sport Scout. I can do that in the same paint job. It's a little spendy and it's not quick release, so it's still something I'm considering, but I don't know if I'm gonna pull the trigger on that or not. You can still take it off easily enough. It just looks so good, so we'll see. You guys will know it if I do it. Now the sound of the bike is decent right out of the gate. The stock exhaust, it's kind of large, it's kind of ugly, there's no getting around it. It's like a big cannon back there. It sounds okay. Like, it sounds, I think, better than the Rebel does stock, maybe a tiny bit louder than the Rebel does stock. But we just put that Kaufman's exhaust on the Rebel, and now when Cassie and I ride together, since we got that on there a couple weeks ago, it's almost sad for me now, because I'm like, gosh, that coffins on that Rebel sounds so awesome, and I want to be cool like her now. So we're definitely going to be looking into some aftermarket parts for exhaust, and I got a couple in mind. There's a Vance & Hines, there's a Tab Performance, so we'll see what we end up doing here. I'm not in any particular hurry at this point in time, but that is something that we'll do. Now, the performance and handling, this is actually a really nice handling bike. It feels, even though it's only like 30 or 40 pounds heavier than the Rebel, and they're both like in the same size class, you know, that mid-size cruiser, this does feel bigger to me. And it's a little beefier, the tank's a little wider. See? She still sounds pretty decent, if you could hear that. So it does feel big, but it does handle quite nicely. I'm still, like I said, I haven't had too much miles on this bike yet, so I haven't, you know, I'm still getting used to it. As you can see, some of my lines on these turns are a little off. Still getting used to it, and it does handle differently from the Rebel, and I have that down so well. So, but it does turn nicely, it handles nicely. You can really throw it into the curves, and it is confidence inspiring. You have good grip. The engine is nice and smooth. You got lots of power. You got rain mode, standard mode, sport mode, just like a lot of other motorcycles in this price category. I have kept it in standard, and I won't be changing it out of standard while I get used to the bike. Also, the gearing on this motorcycle, the gears are so wide. As you can see, I've been doing this entire road in second gear. And with it being a liquid cooled motor, you can get really high on those rev range. Actually, second gear on this road is like almost perfect. It has every gear though is very wide, and so that's kind of interesting to get used to also. I'm used to the kind of shorter gears on most of the motorcycles I've ever owned. Yeah, look at that. Some of these turns are so great. Got to be careful on some of these turns because some of this hasn't been swept yet after the snow. Well, that'll about end it on our little ride through on this video here. So we're going to go ahead and take this back to our filming spot, and we'll go ahead and tie this all together for you. So we have a tradition on this channel that every time we buy a new motorcycle, we do a branding of the bike. Now, unfortunately, I did this yesterday, but I lost the footage. So, but I still wanted to have that ceremony with you. So here it is. We branded the bike with our Inland 208 Adventure sticker. Just so you know, these are the same stickers that we give away to new channel members if you have the DCT membership or above. So after getting some time on the Indian Super Scout, I can already tell this is going to be a great addition to the garage. It looks great. It's got plenty of power, it's comfortable, and it's really well suited for some of these longer trips that Cassie and I have planned later on this year with her riding the Rebel. So over the next few months, we have lots of content planned with this motorcycle, and even some comparisons between this and our Honda Rebel 1100. And I gotta ask, if you've had a chance to ride the Indian Super Scout, what were your impressions? Let me know in the comments. A special thank you to our channel members who helped make all of this happen. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more Inland Northwest adventures and, of course, Indian Scout content. I'll see you on the road.